railings around those HVAC units in the high school gym.
I don't remember what it was. It was way cheaper.
Oh, come on, guys.
But it's worth so. So I it was like not just being. That's what I mean. So it wasn't like I was stealing money out of my pocket.
All right, 6:29.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So every job that I said so every job that I still contractor.
All right, we'll call the
That's ridiculous.
Board of Education regular meeting, Wednesday, March 25th, 2026 to order. Roll call, please.
Munson.
Here.
Nelson. Here. Smock.
Here.
Frick.
Here.
Yates.
Here. All right. We do have a quorum. Public comments, looks like we only have one, Chris Chauncey.
Hi, I'm Chris Chelsea. I just wanted to approach you today just for one item. I have been in education in one form of another since 1970. Yes, 1970, and I have been in special education since 1988. So I say that coming to you for years of experience, maybe more than anybody in the room, I'm not for sure. So, as Mike just left me, we looked up on ISBE. There are 850, it made me sick, 850 special ed openings in the state of Illinois right now. That just made me very, very sick. I understand budgets. I've been on many committees with budgets. I understand why you had to do what you had to do last month. And I'm asking to reevaluate one position, and that is Mallory Matlack. With 850 special ed openings in the state of Illinois, I just feel like we should not be getting rid of one. So what I'm asking is not necessarily a position for her, saying like you're the second grade special ed position or something like that, but I'm asking that you would reevaluate and look for a job for her. We could have her be the substitute. We have done that before in our school district. It's been a couple of years, but we have. She could follow Mrs. McPeak around and be the substitute while they have their special ed meetings. We need to, this is a topic for another day, but we need to tweak up progress monitoring in this district, and she could be a progress monitor, or she could just, it wouldn't cost that district that much, she could just be the general substitute. I know we have done that in the past. I know District 300, they're bigger than we are, but they have a substitute like in each building. It is a huge success. I also know that there's at least one in the retirement stream and one with sickness. So I just kind of ask that you look at that again and see if there's some way that we can hold on to somebody with this special ed certification. I was with Mallory a week or so ago, and she's already been approached by school districts. So I ask that if this is something that could be discussed, talked about in the back of your mind, but it needs to be done soon, or we are going to lose what I feel is she eventually is going to be an award-winning teacher, and I feel like we're going to lose her unless something could be done. And I just know that down the road, we're either going to lose somebody for retirement or sickness or maternity leave or something, and I really think that we need to hold on to Mallory Matlack. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
3 board comments. School organization, the junior high. It says junior high, but I'm assuming that maybe it's something else.
Is it
the
the way you want to start? We've got 2
You wanna
groups.
start?
We've got some wrestling
Why
Is that
don't
where
we
we're
let the kids go first? So then you
and
So I'll have Mr. Smith come up, our kind of good news item for the month, coincides with the state wrestling meet. We got 3 guys that prepared speeches all week. Right? No, but they were pretty good representations of our school district, our community. So I'll let Mr. Smith kind of talk about.
We have Colt Rader, Cade Rader, and then Zach Eisnagel. And with the 3 of them, Colt was our first back-to-back state champ that we've had, and only second in our history for Mercer County since Tristan Finch did it back in 2011. He also is only the second kid that we've ever had that's qualified and placed all 4 years in junior high. Cade here was a 3-time placer for us, got 6th place this year, and again, not very often that happens for us as well, so he's among some of the elite kids that have done that in our program. Zach here was a first-time qualifier for us, and I think I went back and looked. Zach, I think, had won 1 match his 5th grade year, and this year he won 22, and he won a match down at state. So just again, continue to show the growth and the progress that we've been able to have in our program, and we're super excited for these guys as they continue on into high school next year, and hopefully they keep growing a little bit. So, you guys got anything to say?
Demonstration?
Yeah. Gosh, don't do that. Don't do that. Otherwise, congratulations on your job.
Thank you, guys.
Good job, guys. You guys wanna go? Yeah.
Now we got some more junior high.
Awesome.
Okay, well, I want to thank you guys for letting me come talk. Not that you guys really had an option, but I'm here tonight as I am taking some grad classes, and I had to create a presentation on something that's important to myself, and I was supposed to do a fake video of it, and I said, well, I'm just going to present, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to just do it all the way. So I'm here to talk about how we can help students with disabilities become prepared for life after high school. As some of you guys may know, my name is Rhonda Linder, and I've been with our district for 9 years. I started out in the intermediate as a 6th grade para, and then I went to become the intermediate secretary, and then on to becoming the junior high secretary. And then I went back to school and got my special ed, and I've been the 6th grade special ed teacher for a couple years now. I also have, my kids have gone to school here. I have 2 that have graduated from high school, and then I have 2 that are still in high school, a junior and a sophomore. I am going to throw some stats at you. So approximately 28.7% of adults in the United States, or about 1 in 4, live with some form of disability, according to the data from the CDC. Beyond education, employment outcomes for individuals with disabilities remain inequitable. Can't say that word, it's okay. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, in 2022, the employment rate for working age individuals with disability was 21.3%, compared to a 65.4% for those without disabilities. Addressing these barriers earlier in the transition process could improve both for educational and career paths. Last year alone, we graduated 20 students with IEPs. That means out of those 20 we graduated, only 7 of them could possibly be the ones who have the opportunity to get a job. Where does that leave the rest of our students? That is the question we as a district need to be asking ourselves. So, knowing what to do with your life after high school is scary for everyone. Now imagine if you're a student who has a disability. Let's go one step further and imagine you're a student with a disability who doesn't have somebody at home to help you. What is your next step? What can you do? What should you do? Where do you even start? Once all the structure and routines the students are left alone to figure out to adjust to life after high school. These are questions that go through some of these students' heads. Have we stopped to think about how we help to prepare them for life after high school. Is it enough? No, it is not enough. I know this personally because one of the high school students we graduated last year was my son. He is high functioning autistic. I know he's also not alone because he has a friend that they both decided they wanted to do the carpentry union. They took the test and they bombed it. They got a 35 and a 40%. Luckily, they were able to reach out to their special ed teacher who helped them and they were able to pass. But now these young men are expected to make contact from a list to see if they'll take them on as an apprentice. Well, that's pretty easy for some people because they can talk. Well, not for students who just don't know how to do it. Simply be able to walk up and say, "Hi, my name's Rhonda, and I'm looking for you to take me on." Now my son sits at home in his bed and doesn't do anything. I do nag him and I try, and I just think he needs some more support, some more getting out to do those awkward conversations. He went to McDonald's, had an interview, lasted a minute. Probably a minute and a half by the time he walked in and walked out. I know that we have the Doors program, and him and I met with our Doors counselor, and he looked at my son and said, "Well, when you get something, I can help you. You have to do this on your own." Which, that doesn't help me, because I'm like, he doesn't know how to do it. So I've always been told, thanks to Mr. Stadium, that if I come with a problem, that should come with solutions. I reached out to a few people, and one of them was a lady that used to work at our district, who did take kids out into the district and work at jobs. And her and I came up with a list of some things that we could do. You could start out with a school-based, student-ran business to build foundational skills just within the district. You can move to eventually a community-based accredited work experience. So either the kids can get paid, or she said she even had students that just literally got credit for being there. The goal, obviously, is to get them a competitive employment. We need to find local businesses willing to take on students, and I know there's some out there. We just have to tap into it. So some costs, I know that's what we talk a lot about, is to the district. You know, you might have some startup costs, transportation to and from the jobs, time built into the schedule to transport those students, check-ins with the job, support staff, job coaching as a student, just to give them those skills to be successful in the workforce. Tiered levels for work-based learning, advertising the program, training in the classroom, geared towards transition needs. And then an administration who understands the value of transition programming. You know, I know I'm up here as a benefit. It doesn't help my kid if we do something now, but I do teach 6th grade special ed, and those students, we can make a difference. A benefit to the district, because I know that's where you're like, well, how does this really benefit us? It helps us keep our struggling students in school. It gives them a purpose. A lot of my kids look at me and like, "Miss Linder, what am I going to use this?" Like, "You will, I promise." Like, this will help them. I think this will help better equip them to graduate and just have the confidence to be able to walk up and introduce themselves. So I'm not going to show this TED Talk, and I'll share my presentation to you guys later so you can look, but I found some resources on that go through it. Don't start it. There's also a local one that I found at Unity Point back in 2023 did start their own program over in Davenport. It's obviously not for us, but there are opportunities out there for our students. And then here's a state resource for you. So I'm going to share some resources with you so you can understand more. But here's a quote I want to give you. "Society can come together, work together, fight together for everyone. All of our students deserve the same opportunity. So I'm asking that as a district, we make some adjustments to ensure our students with disabilities get a fighting chance as they graduate." Thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate it. I don't know if anybody else has something.
So
Yes.
do you have a program outlined then of what you're thinking, or?
Well, and honestly, it's more just going out. So like, she told me that like what she had to do was literally she created a pamphlet and took it to businesses and be like, "Hey, this is like what we want to do. You know, they'll be completely supported. Like, you're not gonna just be handed a student to be like, I don't know, figure them out." So she said, but definitely starting at like that school-based level, even if we just start something so they can interact with adults more and more, and then getting those skills that they need. I don't necessarily have a program that we need. I know she does have one. She actually left the schooling to do one, but I think more so it's just getting the kids out to the community more, and not just our life skills or anything, like just these ones that need that little bit of extra help.
Yeah.
I'd like mock interviews be.
Well, yes, absolutely, but I think it also needs not to happen at the school. See, like, I know they did a mock interview with my son, and it didn't go well, but it was with his teacher, and then they try to bring someone in. But I think they're so comfortable at our schools that they don't, like, they're not viewing it. Make them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Take them to that job and be like, sit down, teach them what to say. Like, I think that's something like, but yes, absolutely. I think mock interviews.
Feel free to reach out to me offline on that.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Natalie Nelson. I also have a presentation up there too if you want to watch it. It's my 7th year at Mercer County. I taught 3 years 6th grade resource, and then I started a life skills program in our district. And today I'm going to talk about the continuum of life skills, because thanks to you guys, just like 2 months ago, you approved a elementary life skills classroom. And so we have a junior high now, we have a high school, and we're going to start an elementary. So I'm going to talk to you today about what that looks like, hopefully a future plan and the benefits of that. My husband is the Apollo PE teacher, and I have 3 kids in district as well. We moved here for our jobs, and I think here we are in our dream jobs. My youngest is in pre-K. He wanted to continue to play for some reason, not sit in the meeting, but my others are here. And my daughter actually presented at a board meeting earlier this school year herself. So I want to start with showing some pictures of what we currently do in the junior high life skills classroom, and that's what I teach. So right now in my classroom, I have 4th graders, 5th graders, 6th graders, and 8th graders. My students have intellectual disabilities or autism, and we currently go on community outings, bring in guest speakers, make recipes. So here in my images, you'll see our hands-on math we're doing. We do a lot of small group. You'll see us making omelets on our stove, and then we brought in a guest speaker. We work on hygiene. We use special curriculum that's focused on essential elements that align with Common Core as well. We have a curriculum for social skills as well. Here's some more of us recipes. We go out into the community. We go to other schools. Just today we went to New Boston, and that's up there. We went to Happy Joe's on Valentine's Day. And so you'll see our staff and our students really interacting in the community as well. Here's our students. We went to a local business that just opened up, merry-go-round. We bring in a retired teacher, Miss Gray, to teach us social skills, and we do fitness at the Y. So the purpose of life skills is that students will engage in learning throughout their school day through academic, social, and functional lessons and activities delivered by whole group, small group, and individually. Data will be collected on each individual's progress, which will be used to guide lessons and IEP goals. The classroom activities will be functional and age appropriate. And as you can see up there, like what functional skills are, and that's the focus of our whole program, is to improve all of those skills. So a little background knowledge on Mercer County life skills. Like I said, 4 years ago, when we decided to turn the intermediate school into a junior high, Mr. Petrie gave his office to the life skills program. Thank you, Mr. Petrie. And we put in a stove and a washer and dryer and a fridge, and we turned it into a life skills program. And for the first time, I have an 8th grader that started the program with me when she was in 5th grade. So it's our first student that's gone 5th through 8th, and she'll be leaving me next year. So it's extremely bittersweet. But we also, at the high school, have a life skills program that really got taken off like the year after that, 2023. And then next year, 26, 27, we'll have an elementary life skills program. Because we have not had an elementary life skills program though in the past, my classroom has services grades 3 all the way to grades 8. And so I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But first, let's talk about the good things that we've done as a district, the benefits. We've transitioned 3 students back to Aledo from BASED. And I don't know if you're familiar with BASED, but We pay tuition, we pay transportation to send students to this day school in Moline. And we've been able to bring 3 students back because we can house them in their home district, saving our district money, and servicing there here close to home. We also collaborate with Apollo to provide students opportunities with their grade level peers. So you'll see a couple pictures up there. Those are my friends at Apollo PE with their same age peers because they are only in 4th grade. And we also collaborate with local businesses. And so we've done a lot with Coffee Junction. I showed you Happy Joe's, the merry-go-round, and the Y. That's really important for my kids, kind of like Mrs. Linder was saying, transitioning them out, right? Getting them familiar with the community, how to function in a setting, how to speak, how to act, how to, all those things that may become natural to us that we don't think about, but we have to teach them how to greet people and all those things. So I'm not going to read you these sources, and I'll also share my site with you, but I found some really great resources at different levels. So there's an Illinois State resource, and I'll share that out with you after my presentation. So I'm going to share with you some 3 big whys here, and after each one is a resource. So by using universal design for learning, inclusive practices, knowledge of intellectual disabilities and autism, specific curriculum, and appropriate supports, students with disabilities can be supported effectively. And that's what we want to do in our district with this continuum from elementary all through high school, then transitioning them out into the real world, being productive citizens, like Mrs. Linder talked about. I also have a really great TED Talk. I'm not going to play it for you, but it is actually a mother who then started a program for a child that had disabilities to be inclusive and reimagine it. Oh. No. So another why is that the life skills classrooms create meaningful and purposeful social, academic, and functional practices at students' level that they carry with them and grow as individuals in and out of school. So another resource I found was Geneseo School District, and actually before I started the program here, I went and observed at Geneseo and learned a lot from their program. They have a continuum of services from elementary to high school, and so some things we do every single day is we clean tables, we laminate, we make copies, so they're learning these job skills, and then we also do yoga at school, plus we go out into the community and do exercises that they can use their whole life. Another why is that students gain these skills, these life skills, are more empowered and better equipped to live independently, which is our goal. That we want these students to go out and get jobs. We want these students to live on their own or with friends. And the best way to do that is to make this continuum, starting at the elementary level, through junior high, through high school, so then they're prepared to go out into the workforce and into the community in the real world. So I will share these. This is a national source as well. So how this issue specifically affects our schools and students is, like I said, I've had a very large grade span in my classroom. So right now I'm currently running 4 different schedules in my day because I have 4th grade students, 5th grade students, 6th grade students, and 8th grade students. I have students traveling twice a day to Apollo, so I am making this transition for lunch. I'm making the transition for specials. So my 4th graders can be with their 4th graders, the 5th graders can be with their 5th grade peers, and they can eat lunch there. So we are so grateful to have this house here and the close relationship we do with Mr. Robertson, but it's not ideal, and so we're very grateful that we're starting an elementary life skills classroom. Our high school life skills, we have a high school life skills there, but it has changed almost yearly with staff, the classroom, and the schedule. So we're looking to provide some more consistency there, and prior to recently, we haven't even had an elementary life skills classroom when the needs have been there. So how does this continuum of life skills services flow between our buildings as a whole district, and what do we do moving forward? So, like Mrs. Linder said, and Mr. CBM has taught us, we need solutions if we're going to come up with problems or ideas, right? So, the plan for the future of life skills in our district. We're going to observe other districts that provide a continuum of life skills services in hopes that one day we are that district that other people are coming to, that we can show them what we do. So actually next week, another teacher and I will be going to visit United to see their program. We've already been to Geneseo, and we hope to get out to others to learn more from each other. We're going to have team meetings with each life skills teacher at each level. So utilizing our early out days, maybe in-service days, where we can get together and collaborate collaborate, research, professional development to grow our implementation. So be very specific and strategic in what we're seeking out for professional development. A clear and continuum service spectrum. So hopefully next year maybe we can present again and we have a continuum and can share how it's working elementary to high school on these services. And then we'd like to implement the same curriculum at different grade level spans. So the unique learning systems curriculum we got is lined with essential elements, and we can use that from the elementary to the high school. It just grows on each other. The students are familiar with how it works, and it provides pictures as well as text, and it varies 3 different levels for our grade spans. So some benefits of doing this is that students with intellectual disabilities or autism will benefit their lives long term. There's many ways to implement programs, including students in these classes, supporting their needs and helping them grow academically and socially. Life skills in our district allow students to remain in their home district and interact with general education peers, where they were not getting that when they had to go to VOSEC. We've pushed, another great thing I want to share is I am the most restrictive environment in our schools, so in regards to special ed. They are in the special ed classroom the most of their day, and that is the most restrictive our district has. But we have been able in the past to push out a student from the life skills classroom to a resource special ed classroom to be with different peers, because we've been able to meet them where they're at and make academic gains. And next year I'm actually proposing we try that with another student. So because we can provide that supports for them, we can also then push them to get them to grow and even maybe experience classes outside of the life skills classroom. You have the handout, and stapled on the back of the handout is my resources. But something happened today in class, the pink little slip I want you to have is that one of my students made these for you. We sell a snack cart, and we want to invite you to come Friday morning between 8:30 and 9:30 to see my students in action. We'd like you to see the classroom, but more importantly, socially interact with them, see what we're working and building on. Every Friday, we sell snack cart, and so our office here is extremely supportive, and so we take our snack cart to our office in the junior high. But then we've also partnered with Apollo, and Mr. Robertson's been so welcoming that we push it around Apollo and sell the staff there in their office. But it really, really provides great skills for my students, all those functional skills we've talked about. So I want to invite you in this Friday to come join us. And even if you don't want to purchase anything, just interact with us. We'd love to have you. Thank you so much for your time. This is my passion. I appreciate you letting me present tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. It's my favorite part of the meeting. Correspondence, Donnie, the yellow, those are the, we got some thank yous from 4th and 5th graders. They went to the symphony. So some wrote thank you letters to the symphony folks, and then some wrote letters to us. So there's a bunch of them in there. And then there's a thank you from the city for allowing them to use the band room for the LRS public forum. So,
Did you see that already?
yeah, Jason started. So. Item 6, the consent agenda. Does anyone have anything they'd like pulled out of the consent agenda? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Munson moves. Yates seconds. Roll call, please.
Munson,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smock,
Yes.
Frick,
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Committee reports. Finance committee report is in your packet. My computer turned off. So. What's the update on the only thing I wanted to touch base on was the update on the health insurance.
I think we were under again.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
And
So we're making some improvement with the health insurance.
Was it 1.5
7.2, Building and Grounds Committee. I don't believe you guys had a quorum, correct?
No, Building and Grounds Committee did not. Wrong means.
All right. So 8 is information discussion items. 8.1 FOIA requests. We had quite a few. One from WQAD asking about specifically bills and payments made to attorneys in the legal defense of Mr. Forker. And
Yeah, that was
How we respond to
WQAD that requested that information, and the district has incurred no costs in the legal defense of Mr. Forker. He is funding his own attorneys for that case. The district doesn't have any responsibility there.
sometimes they don't write those stories when they ask for that information, so I'm glad we had the opportunity to address that. 8.2, revisions to the 2025-2026 calendar. Do you have anything to weigh in on that?
No, that's just where we make up our snow days.
Where did we add that? I was looking.
I don't see that actual one in the packet. I see the FY '27.
Yes. Oh, no, that's athletic budget.
Yeah, and those days are at the end of the school year.
Okay.
There is the final FY '26 calendar. Under 8.2. And our last day of student attendance would be March 27th, or excuse me, May 27th.
May 27th.
And Teacher Institute on May 28th.
Any questions on the board on the public school calendar emergency days? All right. 8.3, revision to the public statement. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, this was a recommendation from our legal counsel, and there are some things that they ask that we remove because all public speakers retain all their First Amendment rights. So even though that we might prefer that they not address specific issues that deal with personnel in front of the board or make derogatory comments, they're entitled to do that. And so those are some of the language items that we've been asked to remove from that statement.
So the part in red is what they would change. Did we add, I thought you and I had talked about the link.
Yeah.
That doesn't show up in the red, is that?
The length is not something that can be contained.
Okay.
You can't put a specific limit on it, although if the number of commenters are excessive, or, you don't have to go through everyone, because the board has business to complete. You can't arbitrarily say we're only gonna have 30 minutes of public comment. But you can shut that off at some point, because the board has other action that they need to deal with.
So you can't limit, an individual could get up and talk for an hour?
No, you can limit each individual.
Okay, because that's not it.
But you can't put a hard limit on the total amount of time.
Aggregate.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
That
can't
makes
say
sense.
we only take 20 minutes of public
Right,
comment.
Yeah.
everyone
Spot
gets
of
their
the year.
chance, and if it's on,
Right.
so, is that's not in this?
It says the board's name and limit their statement to 5 minutes. The red is the changes.
Oh, the red's the change, oh. Oh, I see, okay. Man, that's longer now. I'm not reading that every board meeting, I'll just point to it on the back.
We'll just take turns.
Yeah, all right. So that's a discussion item. If anyone has any questions or would like to see something change or sees a mistake in there, next month we will adopt it. It'll be an action item next month, so go ahead and.
I think you should redo that statement.
And then just play it. That's true.
Or we really don't have any control, just do it.
That's right.
Let us know when you're out.
All right. 8.4, athletic costs.
Okay. I had a request to share some details on that with the board. And in your packet, you've got the complete detailed breakdowns of the budget for the high school and the junior high. And they do a really nice job of breaking that out by sport, by all aspects of the program. Includes transportation, officials, bench personnel. They also have estimates for revenue from ticket sales, and just some large, broad numbers for you. The high school athletic program, across every one of our activities, we spend about $950,000 a year on that. And we have over 400 student athletes that participate in that. Now, that's not 400 unique student athletes, because many of them participate in multiple sports. But that's a wide swath of our high school students. At the junior high, we have fewer opportunities in terms of the number of sports, and that junior high athletic budget is in the area of $150,000 a year. But at the junior high, we also have large participation numbers of over 290 student athletes. And again, those aren't unique, because we have a number of those that participate in multiple sports. Of that combined junior high and high school budget, approximately $100,000 of that is transportation costs. And some of those costs would also be related to the operation and maintenance of our facilities that are included in there, but those aren't specifically broken out.
So about 1.1 million.
About 1.1 million.
Of our
Yes.
16 million budget. And that doesn't account for any receipts that we would receive from, which aren't going to be very much.
No.
Probably not even 100,000.
No.
Anyone have any questions about that?
I would just say that their sports are a critical component of the school system and teach oftentimes near as much as academics do.
And I think it's not just important for students, but for many of our teachers that love working with, student athletes, outside of the classroom setting, because I think that gives them a great teaching opportunity as well. And I think our kids sometimes learn as much outside the classroom, like when we talked about the life skills program and being able to get out in the community, or a transition program that allows those students to do the same kinds of thing. I think we see some real benefits to those additional activities that we make available to students.
Okay.
I'll just, I guess, comment on the reason that I had asked Scott about these numbers is just because after the last meeting, of course, there's been a lot of discussion about how we spend our money and how much of it we spend in the athletic costs. So I've had several people approach me about what the athletic costs are and whether or not we should be, looking at athletic expenses as an either or compared to the educational expenses, or if we shouldn't be, prioritizing some of the spending in athletics for education instead, and making difficult decisions about whether we fund all of the spectrum of athletic offerings or not, in an effort to kind of counterbalance the loss in educational staff. So,
I think it's a fair argument that
Yeah, I
we
mean,
got
it's
staffed by a certain percentage,
it's-
and that
yeah.
should be looked at all over.
right, I think so long as we have, staff members who aren't going to be here months, if nothing changes, that it's gonna be difficult for us to spend any dollars without enduring a lot of scrutiny, and we should. I mean, we should scrutinize every dollar we spend as much as that's possible, because the education of the students, I think, is priority number one, and there's loads of opportunities. My kids and many of my family and friends have kids who are in athletics, and it is an excellent opportunity for a lot of kids. I think for many kids, they show up for school so that they can compete in their athletics. And PE is not sufficient for that. You know, body conditioning is not sufficient for that. It's the friendships and the camaraderie that they get from the extracurricular activities. So it's difficult to make choices like that, but I don't want to leave any stone unturned either with regard to that. I didn't look at any of this and go, well, we're going to have to cut, pick a sport. That's not what I'm about. But I just think we're going to be held accountable, and this is one of the places where maybe we can look for an opportunity for savings.
I do believe, and maybe Tim, you can speak to this, that didn't we make some cuts to the athletic budget in the last couple of years? I think we've tried to figure out ways to cut some funding out of that, or some money.
I don't know that there was anything in terms of positions, because
No, not positions, but just like the overall budget. If you got a
across the board in the last year and a half, I think everything was looked at to where each like building individual budget, like all the pieces got cut a little bit in terms of like equipment and supplies.
right, yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And I think that was gone through like everything in the district.
And also
Athletics.
uniform replacement to make sure that
Yeah.
we're staying on a rotation that's fair to all of the activities.
Right.
But like some of the positions, it's more of like you're either cutting the program because you get a certain number of kids.
Right.
There's usually coach assigned to that number of kids.
Yeah, right.
I
Thank you.
want everybody to know, I'm not in favor of cutting all
No.
the athletic programs. That's not what I'm about
No.
at all.
I think it's good to have that discussion.
We just have to have, we at least need to be conscious. Like, I had no concept of what the total athletic budgets were for the junior high and the high school until I asked about it. It was just one of the things you see, that this is how much we spend on this thing, and then when you aggregate all that, you go, oh, it's that much money. Like I said, I've had some members of the public approach me pretty upset about it, so.
I know the numbers, because the athletic directors provided us a number of students in each sport. I was pretty impressed. I mean, there's a lot of kids that are taking advantage of the offerings out there, so. Okay. Anyone else have any other? All right, moving on to item 9, action items 9.1, FSS security upgrades.
All right, in your packet, you had an extensive study of what FSS did for us in terms of looking at upgrades at the high school in comparison to our other buildings. The other 3 schools in Boston, Apollo, and the junior high have all received significant upgrades in the last couple of years. The high school has fallen significantly behind, and in some ways that deferral was intentional as the board tries to figure out what they're going to do with that facility before investing in a lot of money. But one of the 8 priorities that JJ outlined for us, the first 3 are really important to what we need to do at the high school, at least in the interim. The first 2 are related to software upgrades. The system, and I'll use a computer analogy, the system that we run at the high school would be comparable to Windows XP or maybe even DOS compared to Windows 11 software that we're running in all of our other buildings. You look at any of those screens, our SROs at, whether they're at Apollo or in Boston or the junior high, can look at cameras in any of our buildings. We're monitoring all the doors in those other 3 buildings to find out if they're unlocked or not. Those are all things that are capable on the newer system. We can't do any of that at the high school. They're locked into their own little building over there, so our SRO at the high school can't see what might be going on over here, and our SRO at the junior high can't see anything that might be going on over there. And so that's the first piece, and you have an estimate there for that. I believe it's a little over $13,000 for that upgrade. And the second part of that are some of the door controllers at the high school. When we installed all of our automated door entry systems, where we use a key fob, there are a number of those at the high school that are becoming obsolete. Parts are not available for them, and they're not capable of supporting some higher levels that we have in the other buildings, such as the automated monitoring. And so that was the second priority recommendation, to make those upgrades to the obsolete door controllers that we have in that building. Unfortunately, those kinds of upgrades at the high school become more expensive because it has more doors than any other building in the district. And to replace the obsolete ones there, we have an estimate just a little over $7,000. So I'm recommending that we make those first two priority upgrades while we continue to work towards a solution at the high school. The other upgrades that are being recommended tend to get much more expensive, but that also really hinges on what the long-term plan for that building is. Because some of those things, depending on what kind of remodeling, rebuilding, whatever that direction is, you may not want to do until it's finished.
So the total amount is $21,125.75 to do those upgrades. Anyone have any questions about that?
Does that go higher towards your bill?
That would be funded in a combination of funds toward O&M or capital projects. Those are not funded out of the ed fund.
And we talked about this in the finance meeting, but all of these things can move forward regardless of what happens to the building next. They'll still be in use, so it's not a waste of money.
Yeah,
per se.
there's, to do some of the door monitoring, like in this building, Mr. Sedan can look at his screen in the office, and it shows him if that door is locked, unlocked, or propped, and he can do that with any door in the building. But that also requires running another wire to every door in the building to do that. And so that kind of extensive work is not an urgent priority at the high school right now, because where all that data comes together at the high school in that room off the principal's office may or may not be the location for that at a future date.
There's not wireless options for that?
No, not reliable ones inside the building.
I know some things you can have routers, you know, and then, what do they call the attach a router to another router, but it still requires a wire to get to the building somehow.
Yeah,
or to
and
that room somehow.
they're all what are called power over Ethernet. You don't need electrical there, but I need the data wire
Right,
to
and
transmit the data.
It's got enough power on it to operate the system.
I'll make a motion to approve priority 1, 2, 3.
All right. Motion by Frick,
I'll second.
Munson seconds. Roll call, please.
Nelson.
Yes.
Smock.
Yes.
Prick.
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Munson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 9.2, the 26-27 public school calendar. Looks like starting August 13th, getting out May.
Yeah, you have teacher institutes on the 2 days preceding that, and the first day of student attendance would be the 13th, with the last projected day of student attendance being May 19th.
Anyone have any questions about that? 26-27 public school calendar.
I move to approve the 26-27
Yates.
school calendar.
Yates moves, is there a second?
Second.
Nelson seconds. Voice vote, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Risk management plan.
Okay, I believe you discussed this last month,
Yep.
but tabled the vote on that. And I'm not sure if you can tell me what questions there might have been about that. The risk management plan is a legal document that we have to have in order to make some of those charges to the tort fund that you mentioned. We currently have one that was updated, I believe, in 2018, and Mr. Boucher had worked with our attorneys to make some additional changes to that so that we could move some of those ed fund expenses into the tort fund where we have a pretty substantial reserve.
And it's not that we have.
No, we don't have to do, we don't have to make.
Even though we approve it, if we say we're taking 14% of your salary.
Yeah.
If we want, we only have to take 10. or
Yeah.
whatever, But we just can't go
In
over.
our current plan, we have coaches included in there to pay a portion of their coaching stipends out of that because they supervise students, in those kinds of situations. But we don't do that because those dollars are relatively small and it's kind of a payroll issue to make those changes. And so we haven't done that in the past. This plan will allow us a few new cases that we can move over there. In the transition period here, we can move a substantial amount of interim superintendent costs or any costs with the current situation with employees on leave. And going forward beyond that, we look to save an extra $100,000 a year on the ed fund. FY26 and FY27 would be substantially more unless things change significantly.
I'll make a motion to approve the risk management plan.
Frick moves, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Munson seconds. Roll call, please.
Smock.
Yes.
Frick.
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Munson.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 9.4, the hail damage settlement.
A number of months ago, I think maybe 18 months ago, the board asked our insurance carrier to revisit some of the damages on our school roofs from a large hailstorm that came through Aledo at that time. You might have got a new roof out of that too, Bill.
Yeah, I did.
But they did perform, we did have an initial claim that paid for a lot of the damages that were caused. But one of our consultants felt like there was more that could be done in a number of areas. And so they revisited that over the past several months and walked a lot of building roofs. And what you'll see here are some estimates for additional work that our insurance carrier would cover, and that's at the Apollo building and at the high school. The largest portion of that is actually for our press box at the high school on damage to the metal, hail damage to the metal. It dents on the roof and sides, and that's virtually a total replacement on that. Because that's of the additional $60,000 that they're committing, about 40 of that is in the press box. On the estimates that they've provided, you'll see there's a deductible payment on there, and I think, and you asked about that at our finance meeting, the deductible would be waived because we already paid that on the initial claim. And so it would actually be a little more than you're seeing on those documents in your packet.
I thought it was like $1 million or $2 million worth of damage.
That was what that third party that tried to, yeah.
So we're saying that's not really.
No. And because of the way our insurance works, I mean, that agreement with the third party is, well, is expired, and we're part of a cooperative, and the cooperative does not allow you to do that, because claims in the cooperative affect all members, and so you can't try to sue your insurance carrier for an additional settlement, because well, that's the same carrier for everybody else, for the other 350 school districts that are part of the Prairie State Cooperative.
What's our action?
Would be to approve this offer, and then we would
accept
seek
this
bids
settlement.
to accept
Okay.
this settlement, and then to seek bids for that work. And a big chunk of that alleged damage was the high school gym roof, which was already in progress to replace that. We'd had that scheduled as a replacement, so there was no way for the third party to demonstrate that there was actual damage to that piece. And that high school gym roof was about a $565,000 replacement.
Does accepting the settlement mean we have to proceed with repairs?
No.
Just total it up.
Then what would happen if we do get bids and they come in higher? So,
When you do the work, they pay them, don't they?
Yeah.
So it looks like total.
The press box is cosmetic damage.
right.
There
That's
were-
why I'm asking. the
Yeah,
question.
there are a few of the other issues on Apollo and even a couple here on this building where it's some gutters or flashing, things like that they found.
This looks like a total of $78,189.98.
That's, yeah, after you back the deductibles out of there.
Oh, that's after the
Yep.
Okay, so then it'd be actually more. Okay.
An extra 7,500.
Okay. I would entertain a motion to accept the hail damage settlement. Munson moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Any additional comments or discussion? Roll call, please.
Frick,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Munson,
Yes.
Nelson. Yes. Smock.
Yes. Motion carries 5-0. We're at closed session, but the only thing we have is hiring an assistant track coach. So does anyone see a need to go into closed session, or can we just go on to the personnel report? I'd entertain a motion to go into closed session if you think there's a need of any other personnel matters that we would need to discuss. All right, not hearing any, we'll move to the personnel report. Looks like we had a couple of resignations, and we still have 2 positions of freshman volleyball coach, junior high cheer coach, and then the proposed hire of assistant high school track coach Alex Roston. So I would entertain a motion to approve the personnel report.
I'll make that motion.
Munson moves, is
I'll
there a
second.
second? Yates seconds. Roll call, please.
Munson,
Yes.
Nelson, Smock,
Yes.
Frick,
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
All right, motion carries 5-0. We've got, finance meeting scheduled for, April 13th at 5 o'clock at the district office. We need a building and grounds committee meeting.
Does that work well to try to do that immediately following the finance committee meeting then?
Oh, shoot, did I skip the admin? Oh, I did, I skipped the admin report. I apologize.
That's fine, it was spring break, guys.
Does anybody have anything to add other than the?
I'll just update a little bit on
Yeah,
our
please do.
preschool enrollment. We did have a wait list of a couple students, but just due to the fluctuation of move-ins, move-outs, we now have everybody in place. So any student that's been screened that wants preschool, they are either being served at the Early Learning Center at the Y. So that's good news. We don't have a wait list also.
New Boston, anything to add?
Getting ready for state testing next week.
Fun. Follow.
Yeah, same. I do want to congratulate Bella Schrader and Iris Lowe. They were our Peace Prize winners this quarter. Give them a shout out. And our kindergarten's going to travel around with their Easter hats to the local nursing home and do that on Thursday.
On Thursday?
Next Thursday.
Awesome. Junior high?
Mr. Smith just put the idea in my head, but we had 2 classrooms down with heaters, and those got fixed over spring break, so, yeah, we're up and running again. We had a little snafu where there was a lot of smoke maybe coming out of one of the heaters.
Yeah, he was telling us about that before.
My class, but we're all good. So
Hopefully we
we're
don't
good.
need heat anymore this year.
No, yeah, we're ready to turn the air conditioner on.
Yeah. Mr. Zeiser, anything?
Just a couple of things. The jazz band, high school jazz band in Tennesoul is having a concert Saturday, this coming Saturday at 7 o'clock there in the high school auditorium. Mr. Ruggles, and he's part of that Tennesoul band. I was learning more about it today as I was talking with him. So that's pretty cool. And then in Music Theory, they set their spring concert for Wednesday, April 22nd at 7 p.m. Had several students. It's in the report, so I don't want to let you guys have too much. It's in regards to the Buchanan Town and Country art exhibit, and there's another Quad City festival going on right now that our students have their artwork in. They're from the high school. Key Club, they had that yard sale. They raised over $2,000. Here, I think they had it here outside, and then they're also having a prom dress giveaway on April 2nd, so that would be next week, with prom being April 25th. And I just sent out a message, some of you may have received it, in regards to the post-prom waiver and t-shirt that we have parents that are putting out. Your wife might have done that last year.
Yeah.
I saw her name attached to something. So that's pretty cool of the parental support there. So that's all I have.
Great. Thank you. All right, so building and grounds, you said, looking at this, that was yeah, that was the personnel report.
Oh, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, that's the report, that's all the rest.
Could we do the building and grounds at 6 p.m. then on April 13th?
Well, if I get.
I'll remember to send you, I forgot to send you the reminder on Monday morning.
Oh, yeah, but you gotta hear it. You gotta hear it. It was in there. It was in there. You gotta hear it. My ringer's broke, I got problems.
Do we need a transportation or wellness?
Yes, the wellness is required to update our wellness plan every 3 years. It needs to be reviewed. I don't know that there'll be significant changes, but the committee does need to meet in order to do that.
Okay.
That was part of our food service review that we just completed with ISB. That should have been reviewed last year. Our last one was in 2022 that we did, and it lasts for 3 years.
And that has a lot of teachers.
Yeah, it has
So-
some other staff members as well.
Do you need to find out from them when a good time is? 'Cause then
No.
the health department too, kind of trying to.
The health department may attend. Our food service coordinator and at least one of our nurses would need to attend that.
Well, wellness is Jake, Tab, and I. So.
And, what was the date on the building grounds?
April 13th.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
See, I don't have my phone with me.
Since Jake and Tab are two of those members, maybe we should wait on that one. I could check with them,
Yeah.
since they're, neither one of them are here.
Why don't you text me that, which is usually because
Try
I
to
can't
do
even get
those
it
at
right
like
down.
4 o'clock, right?
Yeah,
So-
yeah, because that's, we try to be considerate
No, I'll
of
remember that.
what our
Where's my phone?
employees
No, we won't, still won't have
have.
it.
Yeah, I
We're
can
gonna take odds on that.
I can make just about anything work, so.
We're gonna take odds on that.
I can try
I'm pretty sure I still won't hear it.
Okay. And then 11.5 negotiations.
Yeah,
I've been-
well, who's the transportation?
My speaker's
Oh,
on.
do we need a transportation?
Yeah.
Yeah, so transportation's Jason, myself, and
I
Tab.
put it in every call.
So when would be a good time to have that? We can. I could do, I don't know about
Can you do
Jason.
something?
I can do 4 o'clock before the finance meeting if you want.
That'd be great.
Does that work for you, Jason?
On the 13th?
13th of April, just make sure. I would be coming in like Kramer, but I think I could do it.
Well, how
Okay.
long would the transportation be?
I mean,
Half hour or an hour?
half hour, an hour, yeah.
If you're a few minutes late, you'll be all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll
Just let us
be
know.
coming straight from Moline at about 3, so I should
Okay.
be there about, I mean, I'll be coming in at the stroke of 4 p.m. 13th.
See, I'm trying to stack them all, so you
Yeah.
don't have to work extra days, or extra nights.
I like that.
Well, we
I
pay them for the day
appreciate
no
that.
matter what. It's a flat fee
Many
for the
hours
day.
out of them as possible.
Trying to get as long a day out of me as possible.
That's what I would, I like where you think of
Okay, and the negotiations committee, these are the 3 dates that were provided by the MCEA and as potential dates for our first meeting. And they expect to have a proposal at that first meeting for us.
Negotiations is Yates, Frick, and Nelson. So,
So is there a,
What are the proposed dates?
the 16th, the 20th, or the 27th?
okay, that was on the agenda there.
Oh, sorry. 16, 20, or 27?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I would prefer not the 20th, but I'm good on either of the other two.
You guys create this. I don't really do much, so I think so.
I can
Make it work, that's whatever. Yeah.
Anything does it, I guess, what was the time of that?
No, they didn't.
You don't have a time yet?
We've
Okay.
typically met about 6:30,
Okay.
between 6 and 7.
Okay, I just wanted to go for it. Okay.
Let's do the 16th. All right,
16th at 6?
Okay.
I'm not as busy as you back.
It's far enough out, I'm not
Some
gonna
music, come on, camaraderie.
That's right.
That's all I'm looking for.
April 13th.
You missed those
Is
hugs.
the-
Yes, that's right. Work out.
All right, so we have finance meeting, April 13th at 5 p.m. Building and Grounds, April 13th at 6 p.m. Transportation, April 13th at 4 p.m. Wellness to be determined. And negotiations, April 16th at 6 p.m. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Frick. Second. Nelson, second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.